Hello and welcome to another episode of Meet the Parents with me, Diona Doherty, and you.
Sean Hegarty. I knew that you were going to do it.
Why? Do the intro?
Yeah. Because I was like, I might do it, and then I was like, there's no point because you'll interrupt me as soon as I start talking.
I'm like, you've got it wrong.
Yeah.
There's 3 words. Meet the Parents. We have our very first guest on the podcast so far. This is obviously a new podcast, and our guest is Scott Bennett.
Hello. Thank you.
Comedian, product designer, father.
Yeah.
Father of product designers.
Father of 2 children. Father of 2.
This is you're our first guest. Is this your first time in Belfast?
Well, I've been over before to do The Empire.
Okay.
It's my first time doing podcasts. First time immersing myself in the scene.
And you really have immersed yourself.
Oh.
You've been non-stop.
I'm swimming in it, mate.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it.
Spent half the morning kissing Andy Ryan.
Yeah, it's been great. Well, you got to do what you got to do to sell tickets. You know what I mean? It's not going to sell itself, is it?
Isn't it mad how now when you're doing like a couple of years ago doing promo stuff was always like radio and like interviews, whatever, and now it's mostly podcasting.
It's all podcasting, isn't it? But the scene over here is amazing. Honestly, I mean, we're in a house full of podcasts.
This is like what do you call it in whatever, Neverland or something, or what do you call it when Dorothy opens the fucking door? Where she go?
Yeah.
What is it? It's not Neverland.
The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe.
I know.
It's definitely not Neverland.
It's one of them.
I don't know what's behind that door, but it's not equipment.
I'm trying to suggest that it looks like one thing on the outside and you go in and it's another, but I fucked it.
Yeah. I mean, the landlord's going to do the nut when they realise they come round. Where's all the bedrooms? They're just full of SLR cameras.
Just cameras and mics.
Yeah, but it's amazing. Miles ahead, I think. You guys.
There's lots going on. What age are your kids now?
13 and 7.
Oh.
Both girls.
Which one was the surprise?
No, well, both, I think. No, I mean, we
Nobody
had
plans a 6-year gap, do they?
we had a bit of a gap, and then I don't know what happens. I think you sort of
forget.
Yeah, I think you do.
Trauma.
You sort of romanticize it a bit, don't you?
You start to get a bit of a lay in, and then you're like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Should
Do you know
we
what
just
I
torpedo this? Let's torpedo this. But it is interesting because I'm seeing 2 ends of the parenting spectrum unfolding in real time, which is strange. So like the 7 and the 13, they're very, very different. Like my 13-year-old's slowly going more monosyllabic as the days go on, like she's proper sort of teenager.
Yeah.
And I already can feel that she doesn't really need me. It's like that sort of weird thing where I'm like,
how do you feel
ring
about
me
that?
if you need me. And the call never comes.
I am
sat there
dreading that day. I remember.
Just got her on Find My iPhone like that all day. You went into the shop, didn't you? I know what
just
you did.
Watching this little dot moving slowly up
you
the road.
stopped for a minute at Costa. What did you get? It's pathetic.
I remember the day my mum realised I didn't need her.
Yeah.
I was going for a sleepover. I was about 12 or 13 as well. And I wanted to pack my own bag. Like a rogue.
This is heartbreaking, this story.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you think it's heartbreaking? Oh, I'm a cold bastard. Because I always thought it was funny. She was in my room with me, and like we were both packing my sleepover bag. I was going for like my first big sleepover to my friend's house,
right.
and she was like pitting my clothes on and all, and I ended up just like grabbing the back of her bag off her, and I was like, "No, I want to pack my own bag. I'm more than capable of packing my own bag, okay?" And my ma just put it down the bed and just walked out of the room crying.
Like Mrs. Doyle being told that they've got the tea machine and they don't need her anymore.
Yeah.
And her mum just turns around and just walks out of the room.
I actually heard violins. I don't know where they came from, but she walked out. It was wild.
Just crumbling in front of you.
Yeah.
That was straight to her soul, that, when you slammed that bag down.
So I lifted clothes out and like dirtied them and went under and was all, "Can you clean these, please?" Yeah. And she was like, "Yes, I'm back in the game."
It's weird because my eldest has realised that money doesn't just appear now. So she's at the point where she meets her mates. So she asks me, she keeps tapping me up for a tenner.
Yeah.
Like an idiot, I give her it. But then she sort of said, "Oh, I'm going to have to, she was so funny. She was in her bedroom. She went, "I need money." like a real quest, like Breaking Bad moment. "I need money." And then she said, "I said, well, you're going to have to do, like, you're going to have to try and generate some money in some way." I said, like,
Yeah.
And I said, "Why don't you do babysitting?" And she went, "All right, yeah, I could babysit Sophia." And I was like, "But she's your sister, who lives in the same house."
Yeah, you're gonna be here anyway.
I'm not paying you for that, mate.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of things that she's going to do her first Duke of Edinburgh, which I know I'm going to get a phone call at 2 in the morning.
That's a trip, isn't it?
Yeah. So she's. Yeah. I mean, I'll be surprised. I think I'm going to end up going and picking her up in the middle of Edale at 2 in the morning in the pouring rain.
This idea when I was at school despite the fact that I went to an all-girls Catholic school ran by nuns, that when people went to the Duke of Edinburgh, that they must have been Protestants.
Really?
When they went and done the Duke of Edinburgh trip, I was all, well, they're Protestants, and I was all, why are they in my school?
I've never heard of it before, really. I vaguely know what it is, but I know nothing about it.
Is it like orienteering?
Yeah, basically they leave the children in the woods.
They give them a compass.
Give them a compass and a spear, and then they have to survive for a day. And then they get a medal.
Why are they not filming that?
And the Duke of Edinburgh is the Queen's husband, is that right?
It was.
It was?
Yeah.
Both now passed away.
Yeah, gone, mate.
The Queen. Oh, aye.
But they still do it. But
For a second, I
and it's
forgot
still called that then? It's still called the Duke of
that,
Edinburgh? Is there a new Duke of Edinburgh?
No, I don't think so.
So may not
Duke of Edinburgh Mac 2. No. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. The Duke of Edinburgh.
No, I don't know what it is. But I think it's still called the same thing. But it's trying to give them some survival skills.
Which they will no longer need.
And they will never need it.
Do you know what they need for Hunger Games?
Well,
so,
exactly. But then the thing is,
potato.
we went for the meeting at school and the teacher said, just one more thing, there'll be no devices on this trip. And you could physically see the whole kids just
crumble.
go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But that is survival for them. They're
it.
dead then.
They're done. Yeah. They're dead, aren't they?
Tatey bread.
Nothing.
No.
And then someone put their hand up and went, can I? No. Nintendo Switch? No. Like, they just can't.
Like, can we have a conclusive list of what you consider devices?
They're never going to separate themselves from it, I think. But
no.
It is wild because, like, I've got the 13-year-old who's going through that, and then my 7-year-old's got these weird little anxieties at the moment. So 7's a weird age because they're starting to question death. Oh. So, like, she sort of, this is what I get on a night. So I'll be putting her to bed, just be reading a story, and then she'll just roll over and go, what's going to happen when you die? And I'm just like, you can't just do that.
Yeah, like the country's going to mourn.
Yeah, no, but don't do it now. I'm not going to solve that problem. But I think she wants everyone to stay the same. She wants us all to be, me and Gemma to be the same age forever, and her to be the same age. Got weird little anxieties going on.
But you know, even like our 2.5-year-old, I finished my a show there at her, and I had been out every night, so I didn't do bedtime for weeks.
Is this the hen do thing?
Yeah.
Looked amazing.
It was great fun.
So is that a hen do on stage?
Well, it's a play.
A play about a hen do.
About a hen do. Yeah, it's a play about a hen do, like, but it's like a fun night out show, but it's a play about a hen do.
Nice.
It was great fun. Really, really brilliant show. Really brilliant show. I wrote it. It was a really great show, guys. That show.
It's a modestly brilliant show.
Something about that show. But I hadn't done bedtime properly in a couple of weeks, and then the day after my tour finished, Sean was all to winter. Oh, mummy's like finished like that job. Yeah. Now, like, she's finished that now, you know, she'll be home and stuff more. And Winter was all, hooray, which she's gotten from Peppa Pig, fact. And she was all, hooray. And then, like, it was like the next morning, Monday morning, then I was like, right, I was filming then for a CBBC thing, and I was all, I'm away to work now. And she was like, no, you're done work now. And I was like, no, not forever. And she was like, no, you're done work for many, many, many times now.
Yeah.
So you can't go. And I was like, oh, it's like that. She wants it to stay like this now. Like, oh, you're finished your job. That's it forever.
Well, the thing is, though, I remember my parents, my dad went to work, mum went to work. It's very similar, very, very safe environment. Yeah. Whereas they don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah. It's like off-piste.
At
our house, no one knows what's happening. It's just chaos.
And if you're in the house and you're like making content, 1 minute Sean's running past and like he's got garlics around his neck and a French outfit on, and then the next minute and she's all, is this normal?
Because I've overheard her say, "Oh, mummy and daddy are recording the podcast." That's a sentence no other kid will say.
Yeah.
Mummy and daddy were late this morning. They were recording some content.
Yeah.
Just like, who is this?
Is that what you call it as well?
Trying to get her online quickly. It's a bit of content.
So does your 13-year-old know what you do?
Sort of, yeah. Yeah, I've took her to gigs before.
Is she a fan? Does she?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they do
Was she
know.
laughing?
Well, I took her to Latitude Festival because I got a +1, and she just smashed through the rider backstage.
Oh, class.
And didn't see me. I said, you can stand at the side of the one. There's going to be 2,000 people in that tent. Okay.
Yeah, there's your bag of Skittles back here.
No, I've got some quavers back here, mate.
Yeah.
So she just smashed through the rider. But then I think she quite enjoyed she had like a little wristband. She just kept showing it to people.
Yeah, your kids have done that.
Someone was like, you can't go in there. I think you find I can.
Yeah.
My dad's up there, mate. All right, do you know what I mean?
It's like minus
do you know where I am?
3
Look,
degrees.
that is the path, mate.
But she's got one sleeve up the whole time just to
one
show her
sleeve up
band.
like that. Just walking around. Are you going to queue on the entrance? No, we came a special entrance. That's our car there, literally backstage. So I took her to a few. I've took her to a few plus one things. She really loved it. And I took my youngest Sophia out in front of, I think it was Reading, and there was like 1,000 people in the tent, and she waved at them all. But I don't think they know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Your boys went to a backstage when they were quite wee, when you were gigging with Paddy Kilty. Remember the Millennium Forum?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was gigging with Kilty, and
Wow.
I downloaded a few episodes of TV shows for my kids to watch backstage just while I was on stage, and they were in the green room. And the episode of Friends that was on the night before.
Simpsons.
Sorry, the episode of Simpsons. Yeah.
So what sort of child is that?
4-year-old begging
Could
to
I
Chandler.
be any more inappropriate?
One of the kids get left backstage on the room,
Yeah.
and it was an episode of The Simpsons, and Cat Daly was the guest.
Right,
and
yeah.
Cat Daly and Kilty are obviously married.
Yeah.
And I says to Patrick, I was like, would you believe the episode of The Simpsons that my kids are watching? It was aired in America the night before, so don't ask me how I got it. But yeah, I and then what we did was we got Cat Daly up on the screen as a Simpsons character, and we paused it, and then my kids got a photo with Patrick standing behind them and a picture of Cat Daly as well.
That's when you know you've made it, innit? When you're immortalised in the Simpsons.
Yeah.
When you're in the Simpsons.
When you're in, I know. Are they still making The Simpsons?
I think they are. Someone told
got
me.
a shot.
Someone told me they went to Baby Cow, you know, the production company, Coogan's company, and they were in the office. They was in Coogan's office, and on the table was an original Simpsons script.
like a printed version?
No, a proper original script that obviously he bought or been given.
Oh, right.
And it was just there.
Has he not been in an episode of The
No,
Simpsons?
I don't think so. But just the fact it was like, just in a,
Yeah.
just blows your mind, doesn't it?
Well, does it, Scott? Because
Does
I don't
me.
care.
You don't care. We're in the business.
Do you know what? I've worked with many people who's like, I keep all my scripts and
Do
all.
you not keep anything. Just set fire to it.
I
dear.
have
burn it.
I have binned a script in front of the writer on the way to the job before. And
Terrible temper.
I have binned Tim McGarry's script in front of him.
You open our green bin and it literally says, "Give my headpiece episode 4," and then Diona Doherty in big block letters over the top.
Come get it.
It's just
full
lying in our bin.
Yeah, but I remember leaving a Perforated Ulster, which is a radio show I do with the whole Nabub gang here, and I was walking out of the BBC studio and there was like a big recycling bin, and I was just like, yeet, and just chucked it in as I was walking out. And
What's going on here? Is this some sort of purging of the soul going on or something?
I'm just like, I just like draw a line and move. Do you know what I mean? And also, like, I ain't got. Where am I going to put all that stuff?
Well, no, but
you keep all those
it's
things?
history, innit? I've kept pasta pictures from a shit 7-year-old. I'm going to keep scripts.
There's from. Do you mean a shit pasta picture or a shit
pasta picture. I'm
7-year-old?
very tired. A shit pasta picture from my 7-year-old. If I've kept that, I should keep scripts. Have got more value than that, innit?
Do you keep all the shit from your shit 7-year-old?
No, what I do is we stockpile and it goes into like a wicker basket, and it just fills and fills until my OCD can't cope. Mm-hmm. And then I just flip out and just bin it.
Do you take one or two? You know, keep a couple of wee things every now and then.
Oh,
there's
set fire to it and piss on the ashes. It's weird. I think there's too much to keep. My parents, my dad was a purger. So like as soon as I left home to go to uni, he obliterated every memory of me. In that loft, I had original Fred Perry tops, right? Mm-hmm. I had original games consoles, the SNES and all this stuff. And I went round, first holiday coming back from uni.
Like a few months in?
Few months in. It's 8 weeks. 8 weeks. They
Midterm.
could still smell my aftershave in the house.
Yeah.
And I said, "Where's that Nintendo?" And he went, "The tip." And I still can't. I've still struggled with it.
That is awful.
It comes up every Christmas.
You shouldn't claim
I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed about it.
Here, what? My ma keeps everything.
Really?
Everything. What did my ma keep of me and my brothers and brought down to our house last year to show us?
Teeth.
My teeth.
And her? Was there her as well?
She brought down, do you remember laser pens?
Who is she, Mrs. Dahmer?
yeah.
It's the behaviour of a serial killer, that,
Imagine it came out, there was just people under the floorboards. That's what happened.
They're not my teeth.
Yeah. So these are your baby teeth, they're like this size and black.
There is a weird one, isn't there, though? Some parents do umbilical cords.
What, we have ours.
Oh.
We have the baby's umbilical cords.
Foreskins and stuff. And
Well, I'm going to
it's
let
like
him.
a museum of weirdness.
Of
isn't
flesh.
It? She don't keep. You're lying. They don't keep your teeth.
So my ma brought down, do you know, a laser pen?
Yeah.
So it was, do you know the box the laser pen came in? And in it was a photograph of each of us. It was like a shrine. I don't know if she was trying to do like a fucking Ouija board or do you know like one that was like
something
dolls?
you dig up in somebody's garden 300 years later.
Well, maybe it was a time capsule. So I had a bangle. She had my bangle on there. She had...
She's going to try and... it's like some sort of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I'm going to make
Cloning
another
centre.
one. Cloning or something.
And there was an A4 page, swear right,
Not hair.
nail clippings.
Oh, this is...
Sellotaped.
do you know what? No wonder you throw scripts away.
Yeah.
Well, I can't keep anything now. I'm triggered. She keeps too much, and she has written below it it's like each fingernail: thumb, left finger, right finger, ring finger, Peter Pan finger,
No.
Peter pointer. All them written down on the page. What the fingernails are, our teeth, a bangle from me, a prefect badge from Darren, and a photograph from each of us.
That's horrendous.
I know. It's sellotaped up to fuck so nobody could get onto it.
You need to see her more. Go and visit her more. Sitting there surrounded by your DNA, trying to conjure up some sort of memory.
My mum classically gets things wrong, and whenever we had our daughter, we thought she had a dairy allergy, so I was breastfeeding her, but so I stopped eating dairy. It turned out she didn't have a dairy allergy. She was just an absolute yap, because she was crying all the time. And I remember having the phone call to my mum, being like, because obviously we're from Derry, and I was like, listen, I have to stay away from Derry. And she was like, why? And I was like, well, it's upsetting the child. And she was like, well, we'll come visit you then. And I was like, no, I can't eat dairy. I can come and visit you.
Just an irrational fear of a place. Yeah, it is weird though, isn't it? What I think my mum and dad now they've got in the grandkids phase, so they're like I'm watching them. They're completely different. They switch. They approach things completely differently.
Do you think they become nicer people as grandparents?
I think so.
Because
hard times though. When we were kids and our parents were growing up, hard times. When did you grow up? The 80s, 90s?
Yeah, 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 44 now. How old are you?
I'm almost 40.
Sean will be almost 40. I'm 34.
Yeah.
I am almost 40.
Big age difference between us. Huge.
6 years.
Phenomenal.
Oh,
a generation, some would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I was running about in primary 3 and then she was born.
Wow. Is that right?
Something like that.
No, it's like P1. P1.
No.
P1.
6 and P1.
P2. We'll call them spot it in the middle. P2. Do you know what? You've got girls. You're
two girls.
Two girls. Can I show you the loveliest thing that Sean did this week for both me and my daughter? Winter is obsessed with doing my hair, which I think is rude because I think my hair's fine, but she keeps wanting to do it. And it's sore. She pulls it. She's 2. She's like pulling at my hair all the time. And I'm always going like, oh my God, this is painful. But we bought her a doll's head. She's not interested.
No, I want real. I want the warmth of human blood pumping through.
Yeah.
No,
she's
you're not
cutting bits off to stick onto a piece of paper for years
I don't want
to come.
a decapitated head, mate. It's as weird as keeping teeth. I can see where this is coming from.
Yeah.
What's this weird serial killer house you're living in? It's been passed down.
Sean was like, you can do mine. She's like, Daddy, your hair's not long enough. Sean bought himself a wig so that she can do. Can we put this on the screen if I send you a photograph?
Maximum dad points, that is, man.
You
take one for the team.
Wearing a wig like Elsa from Frozen, and she's doing his hair like it's.
Yeah.
Like, do you love your kids that much?
Have you let your kids do makeup? Gemma used to let kids do makeup on her.
Well, that's okay.
But you had to book. Well, it's not.
Is it?
Because if you get a delivery, you can't answer the door like that.
Oh.
Looking like some
they
sort
do makeup
of
on
Ronald
you?
McDonald, you know what I mean? Yeah, so they'd just paint on her head and using all the makeup and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
I got my nails done last night, but I literally cleaned them off like straight after.
Immediately.
Too far.
They love tinkering like that. My youngest is massively into dolls at the moment. So that's her thing.
You
Everywhere.
wonder, isn't it wild the way girls are into that? Like what are we doing?
It's not pre-programmed, I don't think.
No.
Is it a motherly thing?
I've done my best.
I've
I've put like 18-volt hammer drills amongst it, and do you know what I mean? I put some drill bits next to
my
it. My
daughter would take the drill and the doll and be like,
yeah. So I've tried, but I think there is still that pre-programming. I think no matter how we try, I think Disney and stuff gets their claws in.
Yeah, they're not
think
born
you
that
can,
way. It's just like what they're seeing all the time.
Yeah.
And what's marketed towards them as well.
Yeah. Although Disney's changing, isn't it? Because do you know the story of Frozen? Do you know this?
Yeah.
No, but do you know that they all thought that Anna, they made more Anna dolls? Do you know this?
No.
So they made more Anna dolls because they thought children would gravitate to her as the heroine, and they didn't. They all went for Elsa as the underdog.
Oh,
That's
really?
what that says about.
Well, I think also Elsa has the big glittery dress and the big blonde wig, so that might have been why.
And the castle made of ice.
And the castle made of ice.
It's obvious now, isn't it? It's a shit point now, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I think what it shows though is that they're like an underdog, and I think that was like the first time they'd ever had two major female leads.
Yeah, in a Disney.
Yeah,
because there's usually, what do you call that test? I want to say the Heimlich maneuver, but that's not what it is. There's like what do you call the test? There's like where TV shows go through and like 1% of them pass it, where they have to have like 10% or certain amount of scenes where female leads are not talking about men. What is it? The Bechdel test.
Right.
And very few movies pass it. I think The Hunger Games was one of the first movies to pass it, where they have a female lead and no male lead. The males are supporting roles, and that the women, when they're on scenes by themselves without men, aren't talking about men. Whereas most movies, when women are on the screen by themselves, they're talking about men.
Yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
It's unbelievable.
So that shows, like, when young girls are watching TV, they're like, oh, well, our world revolves around men.
Yeah, or men saving us.
Men saving us, that's the
saving
princess
us from
and
that
the stress.
situation.
But I remember when we had our daughter,
We still have her.
when we first had her, you're almost programmed into when a bird lands on the windowsill or something, you're like, he. Everything is just he. Everything's like sort of male dominating. And it's only since we've had a daughter that I've had to change all that and call things she and stuff, which is almost like sexism built
Backwards.
into me, do you know?
But you're also good for pitting on women's sports for our
I thought you were
daughter.
going to say clothes.
Wig on the head.
That is-
It's a very
Whilst she on her
progressive
sport-
household, this.
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
go back to England with lots of ideas.
Yeah. But he would put on, like, you put on lots of the women's football and stuff for Winter to watch as well, so she doesn't think sports is just a boys thing.
Spend Sunday just shaving your back. Waxing your ass cheeks.
So we met at the National Comedy Awards. Neither of us up for anything.
No.
Why were we there?
I just was there because I've never been and I had fear of missing out.
That's the same as me.
And I basically sat there, ate some breadsticks, realised I wasn't going to win anything, couldn't drink because I was on the last train home, and then skulked off.
Who were you sitting with?
Me?
But who was in the table? Tell us.
Our agent.
Our agency. It was a table from our agency. So
Yeah.
there was Anna Thomas.
Yeah.
And
Who else was there? It's a thriving agency of comedy talent.
Stephen
Quan
Buchanan.
Wen, Stephen Buchanan, Dan Tiernan,
Oh, and what do you call him?
Darren Harriott.
Darren Hyatt was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It's good fun.
It was good fun, actually. I got on the telly.
You did, because your
So
head was right behind.
I thought you were going to say, because your head is massive then. And
Yeah,
you
your
pulled
massive
back.
head.
I wouldn't have expected that,
was right behind.
because your massive head, I was right behind Bob Mortimer.
You were.
And I knew as soon as Bob Mortimer was there, I actually shuffled my chair to the right. Because I thought, but it was really weird because
The whole time I was like, Scott's got really close to me.
so I know I'm invading your personal space, but my narcissism's at stake. Shift over. It's weird because he was the main draw, really.
Yeah.
He was the biggest name there.
As a guest. He
Yeah,
wasn't
in
on
the
stage.
peripheral guest, but he was the
Yeah.
biggest name there. So basically, did you not see at certain points they'd just have, the camera would just be like here
On him.
on him?
Yeah.
And like he was trying to eat or just trying to react.
Yeah.
And the camera's here. And I always think in award ceremonies you have to perfect the.
Yeah.
It's really hard, that emotion where you can't be going.
Yeah.
And you can't be annoyed. You have to just have a neutral face
And he's
for the whole
probably
night.
sat chatting to a friend and
Yeah.
then spots the camera and has to be all.
Because then you don't want to say something contentious, or you whisper, or you
Lip
know,
readers look at
or
you.
someone wins and you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just goes
That's
around
why
the world.
when the Gallaghers are watching like Man City or whatever, when the camera comes to them, they're like this to the camera. So
Yes.
the camera goes, oh, we can't go back to them. So then they get peace to actually sit and
Oh, do they?
watch the game without the.
You were
coming
doing the
back.
opposite when the
You
cameras
were like
came
this,
to
were
you.
you?
I was going, come on.
Yeah.
Come to me.
So I was on the and then yeah, basically I just did it to try and get in the background, but it was all right. It was a good night, but it's always a weird one for me because I went down there. I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest. I don't know. It was my first time. Was it your first time?
My first time, probably my last, to be honest, Scott. I had a great time, but I spent the whole time going, will I say hello to Catherine Ryan? Will not bother. I'll
Were
not
you,
bother.
were
I'll not
you pregnant at the time?
go. Yeah. I was pregnant. I was about 5 months pregnant.
You were.
So
Catherine Ryan not pregnant then too?
No, she'd had her child. There's a couple months between our children.
You could have went up to her and went like,
I know. Didn't do that
bellies.
though. I think she won an award. Who else won? There was lots of fun things happening. But do you know what it is? Those things are very they're not the wild night out you think they're going to be. They're very industry.
Well, in my old job, I used to go at Hilton. Do you know what's really weird? In my old job, I used to go to something called the Design Awards, right? And they'd do it at the Hilton on Park Lane, and they'd have a comedian. So this is before I did comedy. So they had McIntyre, Sean Locke, Dara O'Brien. Who else have I seen? Alistair McGowan. So all these people I was watching doing a corporate.
Yeah.
I even remember then thinking, that's a tough gig, that. And then now I have to do those things, and I think I know how they felt now.
Awful.
Looking out at people in penguin suits.
I know. And they're like, can you go away? We're trying to eat.
It's such a weird atmosphere, that, though.
Yeah.
And even great comics I was watching thinking, God, that's hard. And now it's so weird being on the other side of that. But they're weird nights. You sort of sit there for hours, wait until your category's called. If you haven't won, night's done, isn't it?
Yeah. Because I think, because that's when Have a Word was up for Best Podcast and the Ramsays one. And Big
Ramsay's
war.
won
Best
Their
podcast.
Best Podcast.
Yeah.
So it is one of those ones where you're like, you think it's going to be much more glamorous.
Oh, rock and roll.
Also, can I point out, where was our table? At the fucking back.
We were at the back. Although, do you never used to watch the NME Awards when it was on telly? The Brat Awards. Do you watch that?
No.
So they used to do, obviously, the Brit Awards, but NME, which is New Musical Express, would do the Brat Awards, and it was always chaos. Like, it looked brilliant.
Looked
it
like
looked
mad crack.
drug-fueled. It looked
Yeah.
amazing. And one of the years, the guy from the Cribs, you know the band The Cribs?
Oh, I thought you meant the MTV show.
No.
No.
I feel like I'm going to carry on with this story, even though neither of you are invested.
I'm so invested. I can't wait.
And he jumped off stage, did a stage dive in the middle of it, and cut his back open and had to go to A&E.
Did you think he would have finished his set? Did he finish
No,
his
it
set?
wasn't even his set. He was getting an award.
Oh, right. Oh,
And
that's
he just cocaine's a hell of a drug. And he just jumps off stage. And then you'd have things like bands slagging each other off.
Yeah.
You'd have it like proper rock and roll, but none of that.
We're just pure madness. Like, I know it's...
But what did you get as? Some chili peanut fell on the floor. That was it. wasn't
Yeah. But I think now, though, it's not cool anymore to be like mad bastards. Like, all that rock and roll scene's gone. Comedians are like clean living, go to the gym.
Yeah, do you know why that is, though? I think it's because everything can be filmed.
Online, yeah.
So if you like go mad, you can't get away with it anymore, can
No.
you? It's been streamed live as your torpedo in your career.
It's shit. And you told me briefly on that night about your daughter. Your daughter was born with a rare...
My eldest.
Yeah, your eldest
Yeah,
daughter.
which explains the gap, by the way.
That's the gap. That's why there's a gap.
That's the gap. There you go. That's the reveal.
Yeah.
So basically what happened was, first daughter had a rare genetic disorder, which was the opposite of diabetes, called congenital hyperinsulinism.
Okay.
That shows how good an award ceremony that was when I was talking to Diona about that. That
Yeah. And
Do you
also...
know, can this ceremony get any better? Let me tell you about a life-threatening condition that left me and my wife broken. Oh, clap Joe Lycett first.
well,
She nearly
that's-
died. Do you want some peanuts? That's how bad that evening got.
And also, we were both completely sober, but I still can't remember half of this, so I'd like to hear.
Yeah, well, it was basically, so she had this rare disorder. 10 weeks old, she started to go like have fits and go blue. And we didn't know what was going on. And they basically, we were in hospital for 11 months.
Wow.
Because they didn't know what it was. It's 1 in 750,000.
And so while she was there, was she consistently still taking seizures?
So yeah, basically they said it was hypoglycemia, which
Yeah.
most babies have, and they just force-fed her. That's how they cope with it.
Force-fed her sugar?
Force-fed her sugar. Like sugary food to keep her sugars up. And then they were like, oh, that'll get you past the track. But it was pointless because it needed an operation. So they didn't know what they were doing, basically. So they kept sending us. So when she was operated on, we flew to Berlin for a scan. It was mad. Went on a private jet. It's insane. I'm writing a book about it. That's how mad a story it is.
You went on a private jet that you had to fund yourself?
No, NHS, mate.
Did they?
Yeah. And that's, so now like, I always
I
think,
can't even get a fucking antibiotic.
I know, amazing, it? Because of me. Honestly, I asked them how much it cost. They said 250 grand, right? And I remember looking down over Manchester looking down, thinking, right down there now is an old lady being told she can't have a hip because of this.
But then...
And then I just went, can I have another glass of white wine?
Yeah. You were like...
Do you know what there was underneath? There was a little tray of croissants and some fruit as well.
Isn't that gorgeous?
It was a Learjet, private Learjet.
Jeez.
Were they for your daughter or for you?
It was for my daughter, and they had like a medic, and she had like a tube in her and stuff. It was mad. It was like a movie.
And
I still can't believe it.
Why private jet?
But because you can't, you had to have doctors, and you had to have her with a load of medication flying. So
I bet you could have easily went on EasyJet, and them doctors were like, "Are we fucking on EasyJet?"
Can you imagine that? If she wants oxygen, it's going to be £5 extra.
Yeah.
Do you want to sit together? Yes, because she's on a drip. Do you know what I mean?
She's 10 weeks old.
Do you know what I mean? That's not going to fit in the locker, that defibrillator. Trying it in the little bag thing. The defibrillator's a bit too big for the bag. 35
we'll
euros.
Just give it a go. But I bet you the doctors were like, we're fucking flying private jet.
I don't know how it happened. And it was because there was only 2 machines in the world. There was to scan a pancreas. So there was Berlin or Philadelphia.
And that just by chance happens to be the doctor's favourite place to holiday.
Berlin. The mad thing
Shifted to Berlin.
is Gemma's fluent German, my wife. She's a linguist. So,
that's where Berlin is.
eh?
So she could speak to them. Happy days.
And we stayed over there while she got scanned. There was 2 types of condition. One's diffuse and one's focal. So it means like it was a lesion on a pancreas, like a tumour, which can be operated on. But it has to be in the tail of the pancreas, not the head. So if it's in the head, you have to remove a spleen. It's a nightmare, right? That operation, that game operation. So they said if it's diffuse, it's a lifetime of medication. So me and Gemma were like, right, one of us is going to have to quit his job.
Yeah.
Full-time carers.
Yeah.
And they said it's focal and it's in the tail. And they just operated on her, cured. It was
really?
Curative. She's got 70% of her pancreas as live.
So what age was she when this was all done?
10 weeks.
No, whenever you got the operation?
Oh, she was, oh God. So we came out of hospital January and she was born in May. May, June, July,
and then you went to
August,
Berlin.
September, October, November, January. Yeah.
And that's when you went to Berlin?
Went
Stop pretending you
I don't know what that
You still don't know
I
how
just
many
went like
months
that.
now.
I don't know. I went through it. I haven't got a clue what that was. I don't know what that was. It was just a moment where I
Just showing
tried
off,
to
telling us
count.
the months of the year.
The months, I love maths. Yeah, so she was cured, but we lived at Manchester Children's Hospital, spent Christmas there. It was wild. But that's why when she came back, when we got her home, and they said, there's so many amazing moments. Like they put me in a Ronald McDonald house. You heard of these?
No.
So McDonald's have done like a hospice for parents whose kids are ill.
Oh yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
But I did remember thinking it's ironic that a company who gives children diabetes is putting me up when my child's got a blood sugar condition. It was beautiful.
Also, like, you're fucking living the life of luxury, aren't you?
But it's not really. I mean, it's Ronald McDonald, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean,
It's not the Crown Plaza. Do you know what I mean? If that's a luxury.
but it's mad though that so there's obviously a lot of things in place for parents who.
Yeah.
I mean, having a sick child, I can't even imagine what that's like.
It's the weirdest point is when you're sleeping in the hospital, and you get used to sleep. It's like being on the moon, mate. It's weird. You can just hear beeps and all that. And then it's like, you get used to it. We slept every night. We never went home. Because they said, just go home. And I was like, I'm not going home. She's 10 weeks old. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going. So we just used to relay it. Like, I'd do the days, Gemma would do the nights.
Yeah.
And then we'd switch. It's like shift work, you know.
Wow.
And so, obviously, when she was cured, we literally got rid of everything. The cot, all the baby stuff. I was like, we're not doing this again.
Oh, for a second child?
Yeah, I'm not doing this again.
No, yeah.
I'm not chancing this again. That was insane. And then we were told, like, the odds are quite good. And then we had Sophia and she's got nothing. So
this was a genetic thing?
It's a genetic.
Oh, yes.
So she's a carrier, but she's not presented. I'm a carrier and I've not presented. Sophia.
So when she was cured, that was it?
That was it.
You
But
didn't
it
have to do
doesn't-
anything else?
No, but it does mean that when she has kids, there's a high chance she'll pass it on.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like we've got this weird genetic thing It starts with me. It's my fault, basically.
Then,
But Gemma has it as well.
No. So Gemma's genes, I always get this wrong because she always gets annoyed with me. I don't understand the gene therapy. Something happened where the gene was silenced. So there was like a maternal gene that was silenced and it created a mutation. And I don't know why, and no one knows why it happened.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time the fucking maternal gene was silenced, would it?
No, that's absolutely right.
you do a podcast with your wife as well?
Yeah.
How's it?
Brew with the Bennetts. Well, it's like you guys. I don't know if it's the same for you. We just thought we don't really speak. So we might as well make that a thing.
Yeah, we have to
that
sit
we
down and
have
chat.
to do. But then I realised the other day, it means we have to stay together.
Does it?
Yeah. No one wants to hear the divorce on Patreon, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? A marriage falling apart for £3 a month.
That would be so
It would be
fucking
so
great.
popular. I mean, that is my game plan.
Yeah.
If these numbers don't go up each month, we're
I
doing
said
it.
to Sean, it would be great if we got divorced because then we would each have the kids half the week and the other half the week you'd be off having your life.
And then you could do rival podcasts. You know when they do Edinburgh shows where they slag each other off?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then everyone
at
knows
the
it's
same
that
time.
person, but then no one says. And then
Yeah.
they go, I've been to see hers, I've been to see his. They hate each other. Brilliant, this
It'd be
isn't
like
it?
the stand-up comedy version of that song, Frankie, fuck you right back.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know, like, we would have our shows.
He's gaslighting me. She's a nightmare. That's basically what it is, isn't it? That's what it is for an hour.
I think,
That would
though,
be amazing.
what you would do is you'd be so horrible that you would give me our kids on the other half of the week that I have my other kids.
Yes.
So that I have just
He
all
never
like,
has any free
children.
time.
I think that's
'Cause he
the
has
kind
his-
of person she is.
So you get Thursday over the weekend, so you
Yeah.
couldn't gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd get the whole weekend
I
off.
like that.
And he would be a part-time dad and a part-time dad, but made it a full-time dad.
Enjoy your Monday night gig.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Mike.
Just doing little working
I'll be
man's
off with my
clubs.
new husband.
Yeah.
Because Sean had said to me recently too about because we did IVF to have our kids and like we had 8 embryos frozen and we just recently donated them to science. And Sean was like,
Both kids IVF.
yeah.
Oh my God.
I got the snip, you see.
He'd gotten the step so we couldn't have kids.
Could you not reverse the snip?
Got it
We
reversed,
didn't work. Can I tell you as well? I don't know if I've said this on. I don't think I said it on this.
Because I've not booked in. I was booked in, and then pandemic happened.
Aye.
To get the snip.
I was booked in, then the pandemic happened.
And did you not follow it up at all? No.
Well, it's not something I fancy. It's not. You don't ever feel like I want to tinker with my balls today,
Well,
and not in a good way.
You're oblivious, though. You
I know.
literally, they go count down from 5 and you go 5 for it, and then you wake
you're
up and
not
it's done.
oblivious. You're standing with your nags down on your ankles, and there's a doctor fondling with your balls. How are you oblivious?
I mean, it sounds pretty
You
good
get
now.
put out. You're not standing there like this.
Oh, do you get put out?
Well, the first time when I got it,
How many vasectomies have you had?
no, I got the vasectomy, then I got the reversal.
Yes, but he's talking about getting a vasectomy. You're definitely awake for that. If you got put out for that, you got fondled with me.
Do you know what? I was awake for the vasectomy, but I got the local anesthetic. Is that what
Yeah.
it's called?
Right.
And could feel bits of it, but a
Oh.
woman had a sheet, and literally when the doctor went
Like a
to
crime
do,
scene.
yeah,
Oh,
just blood
Scott,
test.
if you've
That's like
seen
a
it, you'd
really
understand.
weird musician, magician, not musician.
And
Oh,
they had
no.
a sheet up, and every time the doctor went to do something like horrible,
Right.
this woman was employed to just go, so have you been away on any holidays?
Oh,
like
no.
really, it was pathetic. It was-
Hairdresser chat.
yeah.
You
Yeah, have you
can't
been
do
away
that
on any
awful.
holidays? The one on the left. Have you? Yeah. Open it, slide it back a bit.
Just blood.
I don't think we'll ever
splashing her in the
stitch
eye.
that. How many children you got?
No. So whenever we were in the
Wow.
process of waiting to get, was it the vasectomy reversal? I think it was. And we'd been on this list Sean had been on a list on the NHS list for like a year and a half to get it done right. We weren't in any rush at this stage. We were allowing things to happen long enough anyway because I was only like early mid-20s at this stage.
Yeah.
And we got a letter in through the door that was like for a colonoscopy for Sean. And like a few days before the appointment, Sean was like, oh, I've got that colonoscopy or whatever on Wednesday. And I was like, but why do you need a colonoscopy? And he was like, well, it must be part of the whole like vasectomy reversal situation.
I love the idea like it's a spa day.
Yeah.
They give me a colonoscopy at 10 and then the vasectomy reversal and a
Head-
massage after.
Head to toe MOT. And I was like, but why would they be
Yeah.
shoving a camera up your hole?
Yeah.
You don't need a camera up your hole to get your vasectomy reversed. And we rang up and they were like, oh, he's been put on the wrong list. We're very sorry. We'll put him on the correct list. Sean would have been
I wouldn't have
on a
questioned it.
table with a camera up his arse, thinking this was part of it. And the doctor would have been like, so what's wrong with your bowels? And he'd have been like, no, it's for visit. And he'd be like, you're in the wrong room.
Do you know what? There's so many stories of this. the health service is great. You know,
yeah, because you got a private jet. And
I mean, from my point of view, bloody marvellous, darling. But there's moments like my dad had a heart scare recently. He's all right, but he had like an issue with his heart. And my brother, he had a scan, and my brother went to pick him up. And my brother was in this like waiting room bit where my dad was having a scan. And they said, okay, Mr. Bennett, your son's over there. And this bloke came out, and my brother was like, that ain't my dad. And the bloke just went, that ain't my son. And I'm like, how did you get that wrong? He'd already gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you're getting these charts wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the heart here.
Like, it happens all the time.
You just think, oh my, imagine that, just a little bit of admin. So, yeah, we've removed your leg. What? This is a thing.
It happens. A girl that was doing my makeup on a show recently said to me that she was on the hospital bed being wheeled down to theatre for surgery. She had the socks on, do the socks things you wear. The anaesthetist was standing there ready to go. And a doctor had said to her, literally said the words to her, do you know why you're here? And she was like, well, yeah, and explained why she was there. And he went, yeah, I've been looking through your chart all morning trying to make heads or tails of this, and you don't need this procedure, like this operation. She's about to go under and have it. She'd booked 4 weeks off work. She'd made it a whole thing, and they were like, you don't need this operation, and sent her home. And they'd have cut her out, and I don't know what it was to do with, it was her bowel, something to do with her bowel. Her bowels were grand.
Unreal.
It is, because we had it with our eldest when we used to go follow-up appointments. We went to one, like it was like a respiratory guy. And I remember we waited to see him, and then we went in the room, and he went, well, it's nice to see you, but
why are you here?
I don't know what we can talk about because I'm a respiratory specialist. And I went, okay, so she's got a problem with the pancreas. He went, oh, wow. Tell me about that then. So I told him, and he went, whoa. Anyway.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. And I was like, that's not working.
No. Because
somewhere in the pancreatic place is someone going, I can't breathe.
Yeah. Have you got an inhaler?
Have you got an inhaler? No. Some kid with 70% of a pancreas has got it, mate. Just slamming down the inhaler.
That must happen every day.
It worries me a little bit because I don't know if you know, this is the thing, I've not really talked much about it, is I had a testicle removed when I was 15.
Sorry, why would you preface that with, I don't know if you know?
Well, it's not something I can talk about. We didn't talk about it at the Comedy Wars. No. It was next on my list, I'll be honest with you. Just before the end, when they did the Lifetime Achievement Award, I was going to go, I'm going to bring the bollocks story out now because this night can't get any worse. But it reminded me when you had the vasectomy. So that was a medical cock-up as well.
Literally.
For want of a better word. Yeah, it was twisted torsion testes.
That's awful.
Yeah, it sounds like something Audi put in a car.
Are you putting a washing machine?
Did your balls go blue?
No, well, all I remember is I was walking home from school and it just happened. So it can happen when you're like going through puberty. I was like 15 and I was in absolute agony and I still went to school the next day. Then they rushed me into hospital, but
We talk like this all the time?
Yeah, well, they didn't deal with it quick enough. So once again, they said it was just a pulled muscle.
Right.
And they left it so long that it got gangrenous, so they had to take it out.
Jeez.
Do you need both balls? It's like an appendix.
Yeah, you can produce children with one ball.
Well, you have.
I have proven it.
You've proven the fuckers wrong.
Thinking of getting rid of the other one, don't need it. But yeah, they offered you a prosthetic one.
For luck?
Yeah.
For like a vanity?
Yeah, because the male bollock is so beautiful. That it's such a beautiful.
I love if they just have like a.
It's so beautiful. It was like tiles. You know when you buy tiles.
Yeah.
They showed you which one you want. I quite like that one.
Yeah, a cupboard full of balls.
I'd have a gold one, mate.
Can you go for a bigger one or a smaller one?
I went for one. I'm going to go for one massive one.
Yeah.
Great.
Like a space hopper. Yeah. But no, I think the thing is, I was scared of hospitals because when you were 15, I remember going in there under. Been sedated for the pain, and then I woke up and they'd operated. So I had no say. I had no say in it.
I always think that about our cat,
which is terrifying.
Because whenever our cat got knocked down, obviously you can't be all to your cat. Here, cat, they're gonna knock you out, right? And like,
he can, but
take your leg off. You can say it if you want, but he'll be all. I know what you're talking about. And our cat got his leg amputated, and I always think about he woke up one day with a leg less.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, "Well, guys, where's my leg?" Do you know what I mean? Like you'd be traumatized.
Did
if
you
got...
did your mum put it in a drawer?
We have it in the iron cupboard with the umbilical cords.
Just dangling off the end of the curtain pole.
Do you know whenever I was going for my procedure to have my egg retrieval for IVF, I remember the person coming to knock me out. What do you call that person?
A boxer.
Yeah, a boxer. And I remember lying there being like, and I remember saying to the person, listen, you might need to up your dosage or something because you've no idea how strong-willed I am. I don't think this thing's going to...
Really? Fighting.
I literally was all, this thing is not going to kill me.
I always think that must be the weirdest job, anaesthetist.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's a black market where they knock people out and take organs that you don't need. Oh. Maybe oh my God, someone's bought your ball.
Bollock.
Someone's bought your ball.
Yeah,
somebody in in Berlin has 3 balls. Was that Hitler?
He had 1 ball, didn't he?
Yeah, well, they sold his as well.
Yeah. Lance Armstrong.
There's a cupboard somewhere with all yellow balls.
Do you know the 2 famous people with 1 ball? Hitler and Lance Armstrong. Brilliant company, that, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Brilliant.
You're doing well.
Yeah. Do you think they have little flags, with cocktail sticks in each one with a name on it?
The name on it, yeah.
Just open a drawer and they all roll about like a
instead of a Hall of Fame, it's a Ball of Fame.
A pool ball. Just lined up.
But there is a black market where they're knocking people out to do procedures.
Yes, I've heard of this. You wake up in a bath of ice and all that lot, innit?
Yeah. Or you don't know, say for instance you're paying to get liposuction or paying to get whatever, and where everyone's going to Turkey, going to get your Turkey
teeth done, innit?
Yeah, and they're knocking you out, and you wake up and I think it'd be hard if you went to get your teeth done and you woke up and here was sliced open. You're pretty sure. I know I'm not a dentist, but that is not where my teeth is.
No, that's where the molar is, mate.
Yeah.
You've got a deep molar right there.
All the way down.
You've both got good teeth, though. I did notice that when I came in.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm big into teeth at the moment. As is your mum.
Yeah.
But no, I am, because I'm quite fascinated by it.
Why? What about teeth fascinate you?
Because I think teeth hygiene's a difficult thing to maintain. And I think you've got really good teeth. Straight, perfect. Nice. And yours.
No, it's all right. You said them first.
No, perfectly straight, symmetrical, white, consistent.
How often are you washing your teeth? Not washing them. How often do your teeth get a bath?
There's flossing going on there, though, isn't there?
Pardon?
Flossing.
You don't floss?
No, I don't floss. Do you know what? The odd toothpick, but
we do in-betweeny cleaning?
In-betweeny cleaning.
Do you have to be tiny toothbrushes?
Oh, no, they annoy me, them. I haven't got much gap between, see.
Maybe you've got too much
They're
plaque.
like tiny toilet brushes, aren't they?
There was a stage I thought I didn't have much of a gap, went to the dentist, and he was like, you do. I'm going to sort it for you.
Wow.
And they go in and they clean your teeth properly, and then you realise you do have a gap in between your teeth. But my man and dad were obsessed with teeth growing up.
Really?
And I've never had a fill-in. We had to brush our teeth 3 times a day growing up. And my man and dad...
3 times a day?
And my man and dad...
That's excessive. Just plowing through. No, but that's morning.
I do that now.
You're doing a midday brush. No one does a midday brush.
I brush after every coffee. I brush 5-6 times a day.
6 times a day?
Sometimes more, sometimes a bit less.
Well, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. 6 times. You're at school then? Were you dinner time nipping off?
Maybe when you come home, yeah, you do an extra wee brush.
No one's taking a toothbrush into school. That's madness.
Not when you're a child.
Imagine the billion you'd get if you were I've just got if people are in the toilets and you're like,
do you know what? I can't. You must be flying through toothbrushes, just smashing through 7 bronze a week.
Yeah, I have to get the battery replaced.
Just nothing but blood in your gums.
My teeth are down. Did you when they file your teeth down in Turkey before you get them done? But that my parents were obsessed with teeth,
right?
And you had to brush your teeth all the time. It was if you didn't brush, you were not allowed to go to bed without brushing your teeth.
Really?
It was a big thing in our house, and it's paid off because neither me nor my brother have ever had dental problems.
I knew, you see, I could tell.
Thank you.
I can tell good teeth.
You open the little thing of all our teeth and it just smells of mouthwash. You're like,
yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's like little smints.
Yeah.
That's why they've kept them. They were like, oh, these are so precious. We've cleaned them so much.
Yeah.
I know.
But it's weird because a lot of famous people do have those teeth. So
Turkey teeth?
Yeah, but I think if you get massive when you're on telly, if you're on telly every Saturday night, it's Saturday night teeth, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not going to get away with just having normal teeth. They'll be there's going to be a conversation, isn't there? Like when you get the job, they'll be like, you've got the job. Fantastic, yeah.
Here's your flight
we're going to have to do some of those Tuesday teeth.
We're going to have to sort them out.
Yeah.
I don't want to. We're going to have to. I bet it's part of the contract. You have to have your teeth done.
But it's mad because you look back to TV years ago and everyone had the worst teeth in the world.
Worst.
It wasn't a thing. Teeth are a new thing.
Yeah.
We've always had them, but we've only just started being into them.
You'd have hosts of Saturday Night Telly looking like mouth like a knackered graveyard. Welcome to The Price is Right.
What do you do with your kids that you're like, that's the thing I have to instill?
What do you mean?
Like for Sean, I know that's for every parent.
A message.
Yeah, like what do you do? Like you're mad about, and I know it's important to every parent, but you're like, they have to say please and thank you. Like Sean's very big into manners.
Yeah.
Pardon too. Pardon as well. Is a big
and
one.
pardon, yeah, no matter you go mad because no matter how many times he goes to our 2-year-old, pardon, and she was all what? Like they just want to say what, don't they? It must be fun to say.
Yeah, I think with ours, I'm trying to instill that to not be afraid of doing things. Because I think I was risk averse for years. So I would always, my mum's risk averse. And I think I was always not wanting to do something because I was worried about the unknown.
Yeah.
As soon as I quit my job to do this, I was like, nah, if they want to do something, you just do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put and it might mean that they're living at home till they're 40.
Yeah. Because but I want to be Peter Pan.
But I think there's a society conditioning that you should get a job and you should get on the property ladder and you should, do you know what I mean? You should fit it. Whereas I think that world's changed now. They're looking at influencers, they're looking at like people who build their own businesses, entrepreneurs, and I just want them to not be restricted. Like I regret. I've got a couple of regrets, which is when I finished uni, I had the chance to go travelling, right? And I remember the decision. I remember I got offered a job, and instead of travelling and seeing the world with like me and Gemma going off, credit card in it, and see, because she'd have always paid it off. That's the stupid thing. Yeah. You'll always pay it off. I went and got a job, and she went and got a job, and then we've got to put down a deposit on an house. Not like it wasn't the right decision, but you sort of go, well, that was the window. That was it.
Because that's your time frame.
You're not dragging children up the Himalayas.
No,
they can't even get around a fucking nature reserve.
Yeah.
No. So you know, it's a weird one, then, isn't it? You're like, how do you?
I think the same about us too. Like we did good bits of travelling before we had our kids. Yeah, like
I mean, if you said
not travelling, but we got away.
You didn't go like backpacking in Thailand, because you hear those people backpacking in Thailand and swam in a lagoon. And those people. I wish I was those people.
I know. I wish I was a wanker who went swimming in Thailand.
I'd love to be a wanker in Thailand.
I'd love to be a wanker in Thailand.
Yeah,
I know, but I think we did loads of that. So I'm very much like, I know some people have kids and they start to be like resentful of the shit they didn't do beforehand. Like they start to be like, fuck, I wish I had have done A, B, and C, because now I'm like, this is my life now. Whereas I feel like I had a good bit of time being an adult before I had kids, but as an adult, like still like at uni and you know, like not like an adult. Whereas you began parenting at 20.
Yeah. So I enjoyed. I did the uni thing, and I don't regret. I don't regret where we are, but I just think there's like a barrier sometimes, and I see it in my youngest sometimes. Just a little bit of apprehension about stuff, and I'm just like, just do it.
Yeah,
nothing's gonna happen.
It's weird because when you're like 2 or 3, you absolutely have no fear. Like you will throw yourself off the sofa and just expect
every day's final destination.
Yeah,
you must learn it, or something must happen, something must change. But
we give it to them. We give them the fear.
The fear does come through external influences.
Yeah,
and I think you've got to be really careful not to impose that. And we've sort of tried recently, because I don't know if you find the same. We can't chat, me and Gemma, now. When the kids are around, we can't have a proper chat.
No.
You like save it for the podcast?
Well, you save it for the podcast, but that's why we do it. Because my youngest, if we get heated or we're discussing something, she thinks we're going to get divorced.
Oh, yeah,
she instantly thinks she's going to be, we're going to have to sell the house.
Yeah.
So she has a complete meltdown.
In her head, she's an orphanage.
The eldest just goes up into a room, doesn't understand. And I'm just like, we can't discuss anything.
No.
So I now try and protect them from any conversations about money, or worry, because it's very easy for them. You don't realise 7-year-old, they do absorb that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because even I remember before we had kids, I used to have an irrational fear of wasps. And I would.
I love how you said
wasps.
that.
That's wasps.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That was worth coming. That was worth sitting on a propeller plane for. I'm telling you, I don't even know what that was.
Private jet, yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Private jet, yeah. I mean, I say
Straight
propeller plane. I meant Learjet. Of course.
Yeah.
Wasps.
Sorry,
On
wasps. That's a very dairy way of saying what. Wasps.
I prefer that. It makes them sound less like bastards.
Yes, it makes it fun.
Wasps. Do you know what? That is not an irrational fear.
No, because they're wee shits.
They are shits.
Yeah. And they'll stab you with their horns.
Our daughter got stung in the neck by one about 6 weeks ago. I just pointed to the neck in case she didn't know where her neck was. But she did.
He's come over from the UK. I best help him out with it now. Unless it's bollocks, Sean. I don't know. I think they're just angry bees.
Yeah.
Bees with bad attitude.
But you wonder why, because bees stab you and die. And a wasp stabs you and lives on.
Yeah.
So you think...
It dies, does it not?
No. Does it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Do they both die? No, sea wasps live.
It does die when it stung me. I'll hunt it down. I remember once as a kid being at Alton Towers. This still sticks with me, this trauma. And I remember I was drinking a can pop, and I went like that, and there was like something in it. And I went like that. And I went like that.
No, don't.
And it was fur, and a wasp flew out my mouth. Didn't sting me.
Oh,
like
that's a nice story.
It's not a nice story. I was like, is that a nice story? Is it? You and your teeth and hair house? It probably. It was like the Candyman. You know that film Candyman?
In my house,
blowing bees out. Honestly, I still frightened by that. That was a moment when I went, because it was the what if.
That's a story of survival. You both survived that unscathed.
Did you ever watch? This is a real Scott. We can move on from this. There used to be a program called 999.
Loved it. Loved
it.
Oh yes, still love it. Still love it. Channel 5.
You know
bring
what?
it back.
I still watch it on YouTube.
You hated it?
I hated it. There was one episode that fucking petrified me. No.
Yeah. It was a wasp.
Some man just had a wasp flew out of his mouth.
Yeah, he had an anaphylactic shock.
These two lads were in a lift.
Yeah.
Don't know if it was going up or down, right? But
sideways.
Might have been, yeah. And they got trapped in it. So this guy decides to open it and climb out.
Right.
And when he climbs out, he falls, but he dangles by his belt.
Oh, I forgot he dangles by his balls.
No, it's about him.
With a wasp flying out of his mouth. So he dangles by his belt?
Dangled by his belt until help came and got him down. And I didn't go in lifts for years after that, petrified.
Do you remember the one with the snooker cue through the neck?
No.
Yes, I remember that one.
Do you remember that
They
one?
had to cut it down to get him in the ambulance.
It, you remember it well?
They had to cut it down to get him in the ambulance. And they left it through his neck like that. It looked like Frankenstein.
A snooker cue is not sharp enough to get through your neck.
It is when it's javelined at your head, mate.
Shit.
Yeah. I used to love it. What I used to love, and I still enjoy it, was Michael Burke in the trench coat. And he'd always hold something up. And I remember when someone didn't descale the kettle properly. Do you remember that one?
No.
And they'd done a descettle and he'd poisoned himself and he was foaming at the mouth and stuff. And I remember he held up a sachet like that and went, kettle descaler. That's how he started. Useful, practical.
Life-saving.
We all know it. We're all familiar with it. But for David in Warrington, it was deadly. Then I'm in then. I want to know what's happened with this descaler. That's how he started every
I've
link.
never descaled my kettle in my entire life. Is that a thing? Are you supposed to do that?
Every now and then, mate.
So, yeah.
I've never done it once.
And the one where they sunk in the sinking sand. Do you remember that one? That was a powerful one.
Do you know what do you know my favourite
brilliant
thing about
telly
those?
that was.
Yeah.
I love hearing the phone calls of distress.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Do you know people were like, quick, something's happening. I've got a javelin through my neck. And then
I love hearing phone calls. I'd love you to be a police operator. Just the phone calls of distress.
Yeah. I'd be like, well, is it your fault or somebody else's? I bet you it was your husband done it. Like, I think I would I could listen to those phone calls all day because they're real.
Yeah.
That's what we all love. Like,
the 9/11 ones are haunting.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, those phone calls,
Yeah.
Awful.
But that's why we all loved stuff like Paranormal Activity and all, because we thought it was real.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We want to hear real people really distressed in real time.
Because it's not us.
Yeah. Somebody else is having a shit time.
Yeah.
But anyway, the wasps.
We're back on the wasps.
I had an irrational fear of wasps, which was instilled in me by my, teeth-saving mum.
Your whole family had it. Like, anytime we had a barbecue out the back, it was like you'd be sitting there telling a story and all of a sudden her whole family just go all fucking run away and it's just a wasp and
We're
they're
like,
all...
Sean, stop unleashing wasps. But we would...
Every garden party ends in chaos.
Yeah.
We haven't done one barbecue this year without people hiding.
I'd start talking about football and they all just start running away like this.
But Sean told me, that must have been like a massive ick. He was like, that has to go. Like, you cannot, we cannot raise our children with you running around mad from bees and wasps. Like, that's crazy talk. And I was like, I know what does have to go. Like, it's actually hindering my life too, because I can't enjoy a burger. And I was like, right, I'm gonna sit every time there's one flying around me and just like exist in its world and not let it.
Oh, that
like,
never works. They
psych
know.
it out.
They know you're trying to do it.
I haven't been stung yet. Now it doesn't bother me one bit. But then our daughter got stung on her neck, and I was like, I do not want her to have that irrational fear I had for 30 years. So I pretended to her that it was a stick poked her. She still thinks to this day she got poked in the neck by a stick.
Wow. I think that's more frightening.
Yeah.
Yeah, one like walked over towards her and just went.
She's not got a fear of wasps, but can't go near a tree.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. My youngest now, spiders. That has entered her head. And the problem is, I don't like them either. So every night we have to do a spider check in a room. So we have to do a spider check, and literally I'm removing specks of dust with tweezers. I have to do a full... Do you know the other day, though? This is awful, because I would never tell her this. There was a spider in the corner. I tried to get it down the back of the bed.
Oh, and you just let her go to sleep in the bed?
Yeah. Night.
Just said, I've got it here. And
Night,
over to the window.
arachnophobia. Just a full nest under there.
But
yeah.
but you know what the fear is for me? I don't mind spiders, right? But I just don't want them in my life.
No.
But for me, that's obviously going to go on my nose. That's where it wants to go.
Yeah.
I'm lying there going, there's no... this entire building or this entire house or this entire room, the only place that fucking spider wants to go is up my nose.
Yeah. That's why, have you ever been to Australia doing stand-up?
No.
But I go to Australia and I'm like, yeah, but massive spiders, mate. That would ruin it for me.
Not worth it.
apparently, like on average, 6 a year go in your mouth when you're
Eat
sleeping.
them. Yeah. I didn't I go through a period eating loads of spiders?
Yeah. I have no fucking
Did you
idea.
do it all in one go?
Remember?
You went through a period of eating spiders.
Sean, there was a good year, I swear.
How do you know?
And I just kept going, I've eaten another spider.
How do you know?
Because I would just be like, maybe on a bike or something.
On a bike?
And the ones would fly under my
They're
mouth.
flies, mate.
Why? They're the same thing. It's like a wee thing.
No.
I swear I remember going, well, I've eaten another one now, haven't I? And I remember being like, this is so regular. This is bound to be more regular than your average person. And I saw I'd say I've eaten all my life in that period of time where it was busy for the spiders. I'd say about 30.
30 spiders?
Over about a year.
But you can't quantify this.
Yeah, and they probably had eggs as well, so they probably there were
all
more
in
than
there.
that. It's wild.
Unreal.
Scott, you're on Tonight in the Empire. This will be out after that, so it's pointless. But tell us when you're back again.
I'm back.
On tour.
Yeah, January the 31st, 2024 at the Limelight.
We'll put the link for your show in this
Thank you.
episode.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm doing a greatest hits show.
Yeah.
So it's
you're
just
a singer as well.
Yeah, I do a couple of numbers. Me and my one ball. I do all that, get the bollock out at the end, find someone else who's got one bollock, put them together, reminisce.
Yeah.
That's the end. No, I do, I'm just doing my best bits of stand-up rather than,
Yeah.
It's
How
not
long have you been gigging?
12 years. 12 years. And
12 years a slave to the
12
comedy
years.
scene.
12 years, yeah. And I think it's weird, isn't it? Because the first year, you don't know what you're doing. Second year, you're just drifting. It all kicks in about 8 years in, I think.
Okay.
It starts to get serious then.
I'm not there
Yeah.
yet, but yeah.
So come along. It should be good. I'm excited. It's been great. I'm.
Do you find when you go on tour that you switch things up in different areas, or do you find your stuff works everywhere?
Well, no, because I don't have support.
Okay.
So I go out and I do the first 15 minutes everywhere is unique to them.
Okay.
So,
Crowd work?
Yeah, crowd work, local stuff.
That's great.
Yeah, so I do all sorts of stuff. So it's now started.
People
Be
really
individual shows.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
So I go out and warm myself up, and I've found now. I used to panic about I've got to get through the material. And now I just think if they have a different show,
Yeah.
doesn't matter as long as they enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then so it's 2:45, so it's a long time.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did 3 last week. Which were
3:45s.
three tour
3
shows.
shows. Sorry.
Yeah, I kept him there at gunpoint and said, "You're having one more." It's
Yeah,
the
you're like,
same
we're
one.
doing another third.
It's the same one. And I really enjoyed it. And I love touring because you do get that time that you don't get anywhere else. Just always that first couple of minutes where you think, it enters your head, you think, I'm the only thing on. That's a bit of a pressure.
I'm the only thing on.
I'm the only thing on
That's
in this
a
room.
lot.
Isn't it? If you don't like me, we've got a problem.
You have to go somewhere else right now for different entertainment.
Yeah.
But what an honour. Sometimes I think, like, when I'm just finishing the show there too, I'd be like, what an honour to be like providing people with their whole evening's entertainment. As you're saying, if you're the only one on, I'm your night.
It's my cross to bear.
Yeah.
The weird thing was, I've done these studio rooms. You know, like you do, there's like a big theatre above you, and you're always doing the studio room, right? So I was in one on Friday, and there was a Bon Jovi Experience above me who'd outsold me, which is brutal.
Right.
And then on Saturday, there was the Beatles Experience that had outsold me. And some people came in the second half of my show, and there was like 5 of them. And I was like, why are you...
No, you did 4 with your hand.
I've done it again, haven't I? I'm not very good at it. I need to stop doing that.
You went there were 5 of them.
That's not working for anyone, that, is it?
Do you know what you shouldn't teach your children? Maths.
Yeah. So they came in, right? And I was like, where have you been? And they went, we've been watching the Beatles thing. We thought they were your warm-up.
Oh,
and I was like,
no!
At what point did you think I would have a Beatles tribute act in a room of 2,500 people going out doing She Loves You and then bring on a comedian? Are you on drugs? You mad people.
Everyone in the audience is dressed as the Beatles as well.
Well, then she was going, at one point she was going, we just thought when they said we're going to do another one, we thought, when's he coming on? Just wandered in. I was like, how can you get that wrong?
So they missed which part of it? They missed the good
first half.
No.
The best bit.
Oh, the best bit. The best of the best
tailored
bit.
stuff.
Do you know when you're on in the limelight, I'm going to do the Scott Bennett Experience in the room next door?
yeah. Just loads of pictures of testicles and pancreases.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Congratulations on being our first guest. Commiserations on being our first guest.
It's an honour.
Both of these things. January 31st, tickets are available where?
scottbennettcomedy.co.uk/live.
Live. And the
Scott B Comedy UK on the socials. You have to say that, don't you?
on the socials.
It's horrible to say that, isn't it? Is that not what right?
I mean, it's
what do you say?
It's a very elderly man way of saying it, isn't it? On the socials.
On the
teletext.
On the teletext. On that
I'm on the line.
Instagram. On that Instagram that my daughter manages for me.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Pleasure.
Tickets for our show are on sale now
why?
for Alf in Belfast in the Grand Opera House this December.
Yeah. Is there anything else that's on sale? My tour,
Your
Got
tour.
MILF, out next year. Come to that as well. Thank you.